the point of that spirit of eclecticism that was around in those days. I know that early C Hags had a very big supporter in Kirk Hammett from Metallica, to the point where Kirk like quite literally worked with you. He played guitar a little bit on your demo, your first demo, and produced it. Um, which I think is beautiful because it speaks to the heart of what we've been talking about. But how did the Kirk connection come to be?
Oh, through Ron Yoakum. Somehow along the line, the two of them started hanging out, and Kirk heard our music. I don't remember him coming to a show in particular, but all of a sudden he was just kind of there and happy to be working with us. And I got to say, Kirk is really, honestly, one of the coolest guys. I mean, he's definitely the coolest guy in that band that I knew. I did at one point run across James Hetfield and Lars, um, and we had a drunken night at my house. But Kirk wasn't there, and probably a good thing. But Kirk was wonderful to work with, and he did play guitar on one of the tracks called "Love Kills," and I think it was renamed on the 1989 album to, was it Under the Night Stars? I think was the name of that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, Kirk was great to work with, and um, I have a funny little story too. Is um, Kirk didn't really know that much about punk rock, so he said, "Would you make me a cassette of some of your favorite stuff?" And I said, "Yeah, you got to get me a T-shirt though. I'm not just giving going to make you a cassette." So I made him a cassette, and he got me a funny T-shirt that said "Metal up your ass" on it, with a toilet with
Yeah.
a sword through it. And so I made him this CD of a lot of classic early punk, a lot of kind of funny punk and non-PC punk and stuff like that. And apparently the band would listen to this cassette while they were traveling around the country. So fast forward a little bit, um, they put out an EP called the Garage Days Revisited.
Right.
Well, they came out with an expanded version of that, which was I have as a two record set,
Mhm.
and a song on there by the Anti Nowhere League called "So What" popped up on there, and that's one of the ones that I'd put on the cassette for those guys. So I don't know for sure, but I mean it seems likely that there was a little influence in there.
Yeah.
And this was all around the time of their third album, because I remember that it was right around the time of their third album that that they came that all came to be.
Yeah. Well, I know certainly they are. I've never worked with anyone in Metallica, but I have a lot of 6 degrees of separation with them. Quite a few people I've worked with have worked with them, and they seem very intent on discovering new music and very intent on supporting different music. You raised the point about that covers album. How many people were introduced to the Anti-Nowhere League or the Misfits or Killing Joke or any one of those bands they covered because they covered them? I mean, there are people who have a lot of meals paid for to this day because Metallica covered their songs, so
That's probably true, isn't it? Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. But then on that Garage Days Revisited, they also had songs by Budgie and Diamond Head. And
yeah.
see, I learned about those bands through that record. And now I have a bunch of Budgie records. So,
Oh yeah. Yeah. And that,
so
we could probably do a whole podcast just talking about budging. I mean, what a
oh yeah.
cool sort of overlooked band, and Diamond Head, I mean that great band from the era, that's that late 70s, early 80s era. And they're still playing, and Brian Tatler, the guitarist, still sings Metallica's praises for, you know, giving him a chance to play for another 30 plus years or whatever it's been. So, very cool.